on investment, and that's something that not all of us have in the limited resources time. So when we think about all the various things and we know we should do them, it's really important to think about what are the things that we can do that are going to give myself as an individual the greatest net result for the amount of time that I invest into my community. And I think one of the best ways to do that, specifically from a monetization perspective, is through affiliate marketing. So we have some great panelists today that will kind of talk us through that and give us some perspective of what one can do as a community owner to take the most advantage. So with that, I will just get into a few questions and hopefully have an open and earnest discussion about what folks out here are doing and what can be improved. So I think the first question we have, just very general for Kevin, and really anyone can answer this as well, is why affiliate marketing? There are lots of other things that one can do. What specifically, given that everyone's got huge task lists, what can you get out of it? What can you expect from affiliate marketing?
Sure. First of all, I should start by saying that although now at Performix, I did spend over 7 years at Commission Junction, which is the largest affiliate network, working half of my years there were spent working with publishers such as yourself, the other half with top advertisers. So just want to put that out there if you have any questions about the networks. First of all, affiliate, I'll try to be brief. I could spend the whole session just talking about why I think affiliate marketing is so great, but just a couple of quick things. It's going to give you instant access to huge brands. You heard someone mention earlier today that 80% of the internet retailer top 500 retailers have affiliate programs. And actually, I think that number's higher because a lot of them have private programs that they don't really promote. So you can get instant access to all of those brands where if you tried to go direct to them, good luck. They're not going to return your calls. So that's the first thing. Doesn't mean you're automatically going to get into the program. I think we have some people on the panel who actually are on the advertiser side, so they can talk about what they look for in potential affiliates. But that's the first thing. The second thing is it's going to give you a lot of control. You're going to have control over which brands you promote on your site. So we saw the Fishing.com. Well, they can join the Cabela's program and promote their fishing equipment. Could also use product catalogs or data feeds to promote specific products to make your campaigns more timely. So those are just a couple of the benefits of affiliate marketing. Also, the payouts range from just 1-2% for an electronics retailer, all the way up to $75 to $100 for a lead for a credit card. So it'll be pretty lucrative as well.
Great, and so I think so that helps really kind of identify what are the potential rewards from a monetization perspective in getting yourself involved in an affiliate program. I don't know, Carolyn, with your experience at Groupon, obviously Groupon can be applied to any number of product verticals or audience sizes. What are, from your perspective and from what you've seen, what can one really expect from engaging, maybe in your experience, in a Groupon affiliate program?
Well, in terms of a personal experience, it's a ton of fun. In terms of money, I know you guys are all looking to hear a number, and the one that I can give is easily upwards of just thousands. And if you think that, us as Groupon, we're only one merchant that's being represented on a forum. And on a forum, you can pull from as many different merchants as are relevant to what your members are discussing. So if we're paying thousands to a forum and you multiply that by hundreds of merchants that may come up in discussion on your site, I mean, there's definitely a lot of money that needs to be made. But I think all of that does tie into, how relevant are the products that you are promoting on your site. If your users, I can't remember which speaker it was, and I apologize, but earlier they said, user analytics and determine what your members are talking about, because it's not what you think that's important to them. It's actually what they are discussing themselves. It's very organic. And so when you take a look at the potential advertising opportunities that are there, make sure those tie into what your users are discussing and not what you think they should be discussing.
And as far as a general size, are there prerequisites as far as performance? So thousands of dollars, that makes sense. But as a small forum owner at Fishing.com or wherever it might be, what are the variables that I'm looking at if I'm looking at my community what could I expect and what typically are you seeing? Does it matter so much the audience size, or is it really about more what's being talked about?
We run a pretty democratic affiliate program, so we actually don't. We're interested in working with people that have very active and engaged users. We believe that if the community is out there and it's active and engaged, it likely has a very good shot of growing, and we would like to be working with them from the very start. So we have no requisite on sides.
And anyone else? Hope these are not questions for individuals. So feel free to jump in.
We don't have to go one at a time. So funny enough, I was most recently the CMO of Restaurant.com for the last 4.5 years, and been on the brand side at United Airlines and on the agency side at Resolution Media. It's now an Omnicom company, so kind of sat on both sides. Know the Groupon quite well. Got our butts kicked by them for a little while, so that was fun. But I think going back to kind of the affiliate side, not to be repetitive, and hopefully add on. I think the great thing, watching my wife, who's now a marketing consultant, run a small affiliate program for a while on a baby deals website, is the ease and speed at which you can get up and going. The transference of risk when you think about things like CPA and putting skin in the game and sharing, in addition to that brand lift and halo effect of having those other brands on your site, it's a huge benefit that we saw. And as it relates to going back to some of the Restaurant.com experience and just my general point of view on this space, is I know we made a lot of people very rich individuals that started very small. So keep in mind the brands or the affiliate program managers are also very busy, not just the kind of the forum manager and always putting yourself in their shoes. And so I know, we had a team of 35 marketing folks, probably about 7 of them on the affiliate program. So that represented about 35% of our company's sales at that time. And we would get calls all the time. We worked with Commission Junction, but we got direct calls and emails. And it was kind of the, using your gut sense of, is this a legitimate site? What we immediately went, what's their traffic look like? What's their site look like? Do they have an above board user experience? So I think for you guys, it's really important that, you're presenting your brand in a meaningful way from a size perspective, because we're also, from a brand perspective, looking for the up and comers, not just the big boys. Because as much as it's the 80-20 rule, you also get a lot of sales from that tail on the brand and the affiliate side. So kind of keep that in mind.
Sure, I could just add something to that. One thing to keep in mind is you need to be approved into an advertiser's program. So, and I think you heard this referenced earlier, that you want to make sure that your site looks the best it can look, especially your homepage, because, and I've done this in the past, I've reviewed applications. In some cases, you're reviewing hundreds of applications a day on behalf of advertisers. They're entrusting us with their brand. This is when I was at Commission Junction. And you're only getting about 5-10 seconds maybe of that reviewer's attention. So first impressions are everything. And I think Dan mentioned earlier about having some ads up there from reputable brands. If you can't get into an affiliate program yet, first of all, you need to have some ads on your site. Otherwise, no one wants to be the first one to put ads on your site, because there's always the risk that the advertiser or CMO or VP could say, well, why is our brand on this site? And I've gotten those emails and calls. So first thing is join whatever you can do, AdSense, an ad network, just get some ads up there. But ideally, what you want to do is get into one really good affiliate program, eBay, Amazon, Best Buy, put that ad up there, put those ads up there, and then apply to the other big brands. One more thing is to just be aware that you really need to develop a relationship with the advertisers, both the advertisers as well as the teams that are managing their programs on the networks. So on their side of the business, they usually have a team that works directly with the advertiser. In my case, we're an agency, so we represent the advertiser. But you really need those relationships with both teams.
Two-way street, right? You have to have the publishers that are applying for the program, but you're also being accepted. So that brings to the question, with all the choices, not amongst time and what do I do with my time, but what programs do I apply to, and once I'm in a program, which offers do I take? How does one, in general, kind of make that the most efficient and best possible fit? Is it a matter of trial and error, and this is for all of you, trial and error, just trying what might work, what might not, or how do you go about trying to make the best guess possible to start?
Sure. I think one of the most obvious things is try things in your own vertical. So if you're a site about selling babies' clothes, don't try to sell motorcycle parts, right? So it's it's all verticalized. So when you go into the affiliate networks, you can pick out things that would seem to make sense for whatever your forum is, right? So that's probably the easiest way. But also we see, just what we see being purchased through our technology is, we see, baby diapers being sold off the motorcycle site. So there's a lot of cross-pollination of merchants and merchant sales on any given site. But of course, you're going to try to want to be as pertinent as you can to the topic, seeing that most of the people are there for that reason.
I just also wanted to add that I think now, as technology is getting more sophisticated, you can also target at the geographic level, and that's kind of what the interesting thing about working with Groupon is that we can determine where your user is from based on the IP. So maybe if you don't have a product that's relevant to the discussion within your inventory or within your database, you can always pull something that's geographically relevant as well. So make sure that you're working all those different demographics that you have available to you.
Just I'll keep going a little bit. One of the things that I find interesting about consumer behavior and analytics is I'm always wrong. When it comes to thinking about what my customers want at that moment of truth. And so, Ray, you were talking about merchandising strategy 101. People who like this also like this. And over and over again, when we did gift with purchase or pop-up offers or checkout offers, more times than not, we used to kind of bet each other on our team of what was going to work the most. And of course, flowers work around Valentine's Day, steaks work in the summer. But there's a lot of stuff in between. Once you get beyond the top 5, like no kidding stuff, I think you got to go to the analytics and you got to test the crap out of things. And so whether it's it's kind of the mix of the automated stuff, which I think is very important, as well as hitting the numbers and really starting to understand where your customers index. And who knew that my wife was most likely to buy sports tickets because she's the one that makes those decisions in the house because she's a diehard college football fan. There's things like that you really don't know that you can make a lot of money off of if you dig in.
So let's talk about that. What are some differences between an automated solution relative to something more traditional, and maybe also insofar as what is the time expectation as far as both of those two programs?
Yeah, I guess I'll start where you can obviously jump on this too. I think for me, I'm looking at it as everyone talks about the portfolio approach, at least a lot of people do. I don't think it's one or the other. And I think it depends on your tech savviness and time and money where you start. But there's a lot of big things that could be done based on relationships. So I might have a relationship with a specific partner or affiliate. For us, it was huge coupon sites or some of the big portals, like you can understand as well. And so it's not necessarily an automated solution. It's a phone call and negotiation on price and doing that. But at the same time, hitting a lot of singles and doubles, pushing sales out via automatic solutions, and then learning from those automatic solutions because there's a huge data win in play of who's buying what, when it's happening, context. So I think it's kind of a little of both.
I just want to add to that. I think you do want to take the approach of balancing the automated solutions with the more manual solutions. But I think there is a great benefit to establishing relationships with specific advertisers, because then you can really save time for yourself by negotiating short-term, say, media buys or sponsorships on your site. And not many people realize this, but almost every single reputable, large, highly trafficked affiliate site has media packages, sponsorship packages, and they sell out every quarter. They're usually themed. There's a Valentine's Day theme. There's a holiday shopping theme, Father's Day. And advertisers have a lot of money to spend. In some cases, we worked with an advertiser, they spent 6 figures a month on these sponsorships. And it's just money they pay. It's not a CPM basis, it's just, we'll pay you, $5,000 if you guarantee us this banner at the top of your page. And hey, we'll give you a little bit more if you exclude our competitor. So you can monetize pretty much every placement on your site, put a premium on that, and if it spans a month or a quarter, that's less time that you need to spend selling that spot. And if it performs well for the advertiser, they'll buy it again the next quarter.
There's one other opportunity to think about, going beyond just banner placements on your site as well. Advertisers are also looking for opportunities to really get in front of your audience, not just on a branding level, but on a personal relationship level as well. So if you have an active base, let's say you're a technology company and you have a relationship with, let's say, BestBuy.com and their affiliate manager, ask them if they're willing to host a sponsored discussion where they will be there to answer any questions from your forum on a real-time basis. That's something that a lot of these guys are going to jump at the chance to do. So you're offering not only, genuine placement and value add to the advertiser, but you're also offering something to your community as well. So try and think beyond those banner ads.
And I think just to add on that, that's coming from a small fish in kind of a big pond, early at restaurant.com. Those unique experiential things where you have a group of passionate followers that know about a specific thing or can truly be influencers to a larger audience, that really can offset you being small and get their attention, to go beyond placements, thinking about emails, banners. So I think that's positioning yourself as an SME in that space that you can influence a larger group, I think is a really great idea.
And restaurant.com's not small.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
And something else to add on that, keep in mind that the teams that are managing these programs, either at the network or at an agency or internally, are always looking for something new, something different, because there's a strong dependence on coupons and deals type sites, which are great. They deliver results, but in some cases they make up 80% of the revenue in a typical e-tailer's program. So I know advertisers are constantly looking for content sites. Let's get some content sites because they know it's not just about the bargain and they're going to get a higher quality customer. So my advice too is position yourselves as content sites. There's nothing wrong with calling yourselves forums or boards, but make sure that you're perceived as a content site. And believe me, they will, advertisers and the people who manage their programs will clamor to get you into their program because it's a win for them in front of their client.
I would disagree and say everyone should just use automatic.
That's my 3
Nothing else works. Search doesn't work, display doesn't work, nothing else works. I totally agree with what everyone said. I think it's a combination of everything. People are like, well, should I just use you? I'm like, no, you should use us. You should have AdSense. You should have everything, right? Try everything. And in combination, it's going to be the pop grill. And from the other side, when Jack and myself started this out in 2008, right now we have 12,500 merchants that we automatically monetize. But in 2008, we had 2. We had eBay and Amazon, right? And we coddled them, they coddled us, and we spent a lot of time growing those programs and developing really deep relationships with the teams on both sides. And then we realized that there is money in the long tail, and we continue to add tens to hundreds and then thousands of additional merchants as we saw the long tail was as big as the front of the tail. So I think it's always a combination of both. If anyone says you should just be using one thing, they're absolutely wrong. You should try everything and see what works the best.
Yes, trying everything is somewhat ethereal, so to kind of narrow it down and create it.
Well, here.
No. But my point being is that, I agree. Everyone wants to try everything, and to test it, everyone also has a different site, right? So what you're going to try on one site is different than the other. But one thing that I'd love to ask is that, broad strokes, top 5 list of, affiliate networks, that you would recommend. Everyone's a little bit biased except Tony here. What would you recommend?
Well, I would say, first of all, everyone should have AdSense on their page. I think everyone at this point does. There's different in-text advertising that works. Definitely a monetization technology that we have. Obviously it works on the forum. A lot of you guys are using it. And then individual deals if you want to do banner displays. So you just work with the big players in the space. And there's a lot of affiliate networks here in the UK, so we only generally talk about CJ, Performix, Scan, Share Sale, but there are, 20, 30, how many do we have here? And 40, 50 affiliate networks, not just individual players, but networks here and internationally. So you can't manage all of that, right? And it becomes a very tedious process. And when we have our technology, it does one thing for monetizing links, but it really doesn't address the banners. So if you want to do banners, you pick 1 or 2 affiliate networks and try to work within those confines, because unless you have a team of people, it becomes very cumbersome and very complicated to manage the whole process.
I just want to add something to that, giving the network perspective. There is a benefit to concentrating on, I think you should join all the major networks that Ray just mentioned, but There's a benefit to concentrating on one or two networks, because if you generate a certain level of revenue, commissions on a regular basis each month, anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 is usually the cutoff, they will assign, the networks will assign a representative to you, an account manager, who will help you to identify opportunities and who is incented financially to grow your business. I managed a team of account managers who did this at Commission Junction. They'll also, in some cases, provide you with a designation such as a CJ performer or a VIP, I think it's Google's or Linkshare's designation. And with that comes perks. You get a full-time account manager, you get higher commission rates from some advertisers right out of the box. It's easier to get accepted into programs. So that's something to keep in mind as well, and a reason why you might want to focus on a couple networks.
I think that was a game changer for us actually with CJ when we were small. And I think that the mindset is we were trying to hire agencies and we were trying to build a team, but you guys were kind of the insiders, and we got introduced to more power affiliates than we ever did before. We kind of cut through the crap quicker and started to monetize things faster. And I remember it was before one of the Q4s that was really important to us. So I think that was extremely important. Last thing, just to add on kind of a little bit of a tangential thought of what Ray was saying in terms of trying things. One of the things that I know some of my buddies in the space that have smaller forums, you guys probably hear it all the time, but being able to get paid in credit at first sometimes gets you some things that you might not otherwise get. Some people just thought, say, I'm not paying in credit, I want cash, which I don't blame you, cash is king, but that often leads to some really big relationships. So if you show that, hey, you want to earn their trust, my site's legit, we are growing, we're making this happen, it's not just a BS promise to get sales and get you as an affiliate, it can lead to some pretty cool things, and some of those intangibles like a testimonial, like a link, like a logo that really leads to bigger stuff. So I've seen it work before.
And so a couple more questions, then we'll open it up for questions. One question that I have is that, okay, you've identified the programs you're applying to, like, great. We've had experiences on some of our site. There's a site, Style Forum. We applied to a program, Brooks Brothers, great fit, but we were denied. So what does a publisher do, community owner do, when they feel like they found a fit, it seems like it could be a great opportunity, but you've been denied? What are the next steps that one can do?
Well, specifically speaking to the any sort of fashion merchant, they are notorious for being the biggest sticklers on the brand. There is no other vertical that is like fashion. They're very particular. The high-end brands want to approve each one individually, and we have these issues too, right? So it's a perfect fit. It's a luxury style site, and one of the top luxury brands say, we just don't want to do it. So I think it's a communication process, right? So it's having that relationship with the affiliate manager that can explain what you guys are doing, and even trying to get you in personal contact with the person at the brand and explain the proposition, what the site is about, and try to get that approval, because we've seen it time and time again. Once these high-end, usually fashion brands, approve on a fashion site, they kill it, right? And it's a very good symbiotic relationship, but they are very, very, very super protective of their brand, and they have to. I mean, if you think about it, the reason they can charge $4,000 for a handbag that costs $30 to make is because of the brand they built, right? So they have to protect that brand, right? And so their whole business is the brand, right? So they're forced to go out there and be super protective, which is understandable.
Another way to deal with that is try to go after some of their competitors or companies that fall within that same niche, and maybe they're a little more lenient in that regard. Have those ads up, feature them prominently, and then reach out to the advertiser, say, hey, I'm working with all these other brands, and if they still refuse you, ask them why. That should be the first question. Why aren't you accepting us? In some cases, I've had advertisers who just run out of budget, so they're no longer accepting publishers, or they've just maxed out on the number they feel comfortable with.
If you can imagine, like, I work for Groupon, and we get thousands of applications a day, and so it's easy. There's a lot of human error that happens, and maybe we have made a mistake when we rejected somebody from our program. So I mean, we're definitely open to personal contact. Reach out to the person who's running the program and just say, ask why, show your numbers, but please don't get catty. Because that's really mean. We have gotten emails where somebody's like, you don't know who I am and you're missing out. And I'm like, oh my God. So, but be nice. I mean, when you reach out to these people, I mean, it's a business relationship, so be respectful. I mean, the respect goes both ways.
So last question before we open it up. What are some common pitfalls specifically for forum owners that they might want to look out for, things to be aware of? Obviously, UGC is a big component of that, but kind of remarks on that would be great.
Yeah, and just get so early on, we ran against a lot of people who were actually cookie stuffing in the forums, which is like the ultimate cardinal sin. So we had spent a lot of time working with eBay to build anti-cookie stuffing technologies, because not only were they stealing from, these members were stealing from eBay, they were stealing from the forum, and they were stealing from us. So, you know, it seems like it's less prevalent now because technology has kind of caught up to making stuffing very easy to making cookie stuffing very hard, but that could potentially be a huge pitfall because if a merchant thinks that you're stuffing, not only will they cancel your account, but CJ will or performance will, and that's it, you're done. You're blacklisted for life if you're seen as doing anything fraudulent. And the risk with having user-generated content site is all the times that we've seen cookie stuffing, I think in all the years, we thought maybe one forum owner was stuffing, but we couldn't prove it. The rest of the time, it's some member, right? So some member is putting their own ID in and they're stuffing, and getting the credit for it, and then, you know, the forum owner ultimately gets in trouble for it, but he or she didn't even know what's going on.
Sure. Another thing you want to avoid is allowing your users to post special offers or coupon codes that didn't come through the affiliate channel. This really irks advertisers because they will put out a coupon code through their email campaigns, for example, and there are certain forums, usually they're coupons and deals type forums, but other forums, I think sometimes there's a spot there for special deals or shopping tips. If you post those codes, those offers, it really skews the results of the advertisers who are issuing those for specific campaigns. And really, you would also be in violation of your terms and conditions with the program because you're only allowed to post links that are made available to you specifically. So it's something you definitely want to avoid.
Yeah, that's one that used to keep me up at night and drive me nuts. Some of our biggest affiliates, you talk to them, why the hell did you just post? Oh, I forgot, I got mixed up. Another thing that I would say is don't try to have an edge before you have an edge. And what I mean by that is sometimes when you get an affiliate to share things with you that isn't public, like, hey, this code's actually live right now, or you can push it out a little early, and they're trusting you with that, don't take advantage of that trust, especially right when you're building the trust. We've had that happen many times when I was sitting in that chair. And the other piece is don't forget you're actually not the marketing manager for that company, and you don't know better than how to control their brand, whether that means how you use a logo or how you talk about them. There's usually rules of the road to do that. Even if you might think, if they only let me say this, we would sell 10x. You got to be careful with that stuff because it pisses off people on the brand side. So just word to the wise.
All right, let's open it up to some questions. So if you have some questions for these folks, raise a hand.
Probably mostly for the group on representative, but you mentioned you have a IP address, demographic, local-based traffic that you will gear towards. I'm curious, as forum owners, we have like profile page, we know if they're a man or a woman, we know their age, even getting to the we know how often they post, of course, how much their posts might be liked on certain forum software stuff. Where are you guys going with demographic type targeting your marketing based on some of those factors?
Sure. There's definitely a couple of tools that we have available. So if you know your forum user's email address, it's possible for you to submit that to our API. And then if they're also a member of Groupon, we'll actually respond with deals that are most relevant to them based on their prior transaction history with us. So that's one approach. The other approach is our API is completely open. So if you don't want to submit the email address to us out of privacy reasons, which is totally understandable, you're welcome to take our information and pull out, based on keywords or categories or location, any variable that you'd like to, and serve that up on your own. And we can help with that too, as well.
I've worked with Commission Junction, and I applied to another, I don't recall, another huge affiliate program. And they said, oh, we like your numbers and we like your niche, but we need to see a plan from you before we approve you for our program. And I was thinking, and she kind of said, you got to kind of figure it out yourself. And she gave me websites. These are where people discuss affiliate programs. What are they looking for? Like an email newsletter or promotion? What would that be?
I'm a little confused. When she asked for a plan, this was someone at Commission Junction?
No, this was not Commission Junction.
Okay, was it a different
competitor of Commission Junction?
Okay, and they wanted a plan for your site?
She said, I'm not rejecting you, but I want to see your approach, how you would work with affiliate marketing. But she wanted,
Was it for a forum?
for a site and a forum.
Okay.
Was it a new site or a new forum?
No, it's been around for 10 years. And
I've never come across that, honestly. I can see having a discussion about how you're going to promote. Maybe she meant, well, how do you intend to promote this advertiser when you run them through newsletters, banners, pages?
Is that
might
is that
be
what
it.
it's looked for?
Yeah, I don't think they were looking for a global sort of plan of how you're going to market.
If you just have a good site with good traffic, is that always enough, or do they? What else would you need?
That's usually enough to get you into the program, unless there are some specific restrictions, like we talked about fashion sites, or they, for whatever reason, don't like forums. Maybe they've had some negative experiences with them. But in general, as long as you have a good-looking site, you have some other ads up there, particularly with direct competitors or similar types of advertisers, you'll probably be accepted. And I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but with Commission Junction, if you sign up as a Commission Junction publisher, they don't review your site necessarily. You're accepted automatically. Not immediately, they're reviewing it, and this is public knowledge. I'm not giving away anything, but you can, as long as you don't have any objectionable content, you'll be in the network, and then you can apply to advertiser programs. If no advertisers accept you, then you'll be removed from the network, or if you have a violation, or if someone reports you because of content or fraud or something like that. But I know with Linkshare and Google, it's a little harder to get in to the networks initially. They do screen you right away. I know because I've tried. I haven't gotten it.